Hello, and welcome to episode 52. Yes, a full year's worth of the Movie Bros podcast. We are your hosts, as we always are. I'm Duncan. He's Hayden. Hello, hello.
Happy 1-year anniversary, everybody. I hope you brought some gifts.
If that's your love language of gift giving or gift receiving, if it's not and you're just here to listen, well, that's fine too. If you are new to listening, there are now like I said, a full year's worth of episodes, I'd say, to go back and listen to of movies that we pick, watch, discuss, ramble, banter, argue. So that's kind of what this is, and that's who we are. And if you are curious about how to get in touch, just in case, this podcast is on YouTube, Spotify. It is also on Instagram at the movie_bros. And we will probably do a little bit at the end of kind of a year in review of doing this. But otherwise, Hayden, what are we watching this week? What are we talking about this week, as we always say?
So this is going to come out the 22nd, which means last week, when you're listening to this, we went out for Father's Day, and we went out to see the re-showing of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade with our dad, because it's a movie about fathers and sons, and in many ways. So we figured it would fit, and it did. And so we chose to talk about this week. As such, we were in a movie theater. We don't really have notes to talk about, but obviously this is a classic by all definitions of the word, so I'm sure we can think of things to fill up our runtime here. On the other hand, though, I don't have a fast film facts this week, but, obviously this is Steven Spielberg.
It's Harrison Ford. It's Sean Connery.
It's River Phoenix. It's John Williams. It's everyone everyone you love. So we're just going to kind of slide right past that section and go right into main discussion. Not to be presumptuous, Duncan, but this is a perfect movie, yes?
Yes, this is a perfect movie, yes.
Yes, this is definitely a 5 out of 5.
And we were saying this before recording, a good portion of our episodes is maybe discussing with what went wrong with the movie. And while
because
this movie
most
doesn't
other movies have flaws.
And I think we might have to, comb through with the fine-tooth comb to find something with this, but like we both said, it's a 5 out of 5. If you haven't seen it, we would really recommend seeing it. I believe since I think it's now a Disney property, so it's probably Disney Plus if you are curious.
Yes.
But it was a lot of fun to see it in the theater. For sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'd seen Crystal Skull and I'd seen Dial of Destiny in theaters, but since these came out in the late to mid 80s, obviously I wasn't born, so I'd never seen them in theaters. It was a very cool experience.
I wish it was a little louder. It felt a little quiet in there for some reason.
I didn't get that impression, but maybe I was missing it. I don't know.
I felt like it could have been more like more oomph to it. Either way, where to start? Where the things you liked?
I mean,
well, let's start with we
could just list the whole freaking movie, to be honest.
Well, but let's break it down a little bit. So, it's enough globe trotting where it feels like you're going places, but it's not so excessive like some of the Mission Impossibles, where it feels like you're going all over the place and it's too messy. Like they're in Venice, then they're in I believe it's Africa. Or the Middle East. It's kind of hard to tell where they're actually
so they were in Jordan at the very end, because that's the actual location of that big carved structure. It's a real life thing. And I think what I love about this taking place in a bunch of different areas is that all of those areas are used for something. It's not just to say, oh, look, we're traveling around all these different places. Yeah. There's a reason they're in Venice. They got to go to the library. There's a reason they're in Austria. They got to rescue Sean Connery and meet Hitler for some reason. There's a reason they're in Jordan. There's a reason they're in Cambridge. Coming off the heels of having just watched Final Reckoning, what this does so much better is that everything happens for a reason, I guess. Because with that, that felt like 4 hours, and it was 3 hours long, and it felt so overstocked. This is still long, but it is long.
I did notice it
clips right through.
Something that I don't know if it's inherently it's not a good or bad. I very much enjoy it, but if I look at it objectively, the movie doesn't need it. Basically, the whole thing with River Phoenix, That
Um,
movie that doesn't really. I mean, it's fun. It's very enjoyable. But when you
I
look at the like central story, it doesn't really have to do with anything in the. I mean, yes, there's a little bit with his dad in it, but I mean,
see that
it's
to
pretty
me.
minimal.
That to me is why we need it, because we need to show his dad being super hands off and buried in his books, and
Well, sure, they could have
letting
done
him
that, but
get
like they
caught by the
spent.
sheriff.
Yes, I get that, but like they spent a good amount of like that opening scene. I don't. I mean, it's not short. I mean, yes, it clips along, but it's there's a lot to it. And again, it's not a drag because I still very much enjoy it. Like I love all the Boy Scout stuff. The whole train sequence is fantastic. River
Hmm.
Phoenix is great.
I mean, I was gonna say, I mean, that's one of my favorite sequences in the movie. It's just, it might be slightly unnecessary, but it is so fun.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like I get it's definitely not really a negative, but if I'm like looking for something to pick apart, I like that they show where he gets his hat from, even though I don't know. The even I think you even leaned over and wrapped like the cut from when the guy puts the hat on his head.
Oh, oh,
It's
it's
very good.
tasty.
It's good.
Just like, well, so I think a lot of the reason, or maybe not a lot of the reason, but part of the reason that that is there is that between filming of Temple of Doom and this one, Harrison Ford got in a car wreck, and so he has a scar on his chin. So to
Hmm.
explain that, they have this one where he picks up the whip, he does it wrong, and he hits himself in the face.
Sure. I like Professor Jones a lot when he's like at his job, like dealing with kids,
Yep,
and
yep,
then
yep,
he's
yep.
climbing out the window vibes like that. I like that.
And I like that they did away with the throwaway joke of, in the first one, there's a girl who definitely wants to sleep with him.
The
Always thought it
first
was
one?
weird. Yes. So
Oh,
she's
oh,
sitting
I
in
know
the
who you're
front
talking about. I
row
know who you're talking
and she
about.
has like
Yes,
the writing on her eyelids.
yes,
Like,
yes.
that is a clever joke, but it always comes across as weird. I'm glad that we didn't go back to that. But I do love that the whole line of, "Oh, I'll be in my office for such and such time," and then it's the entire class
Entire
crowding around his
class.
door.
I also, again, I it's not every movie has to do this because I think in some movies it works really well. I like that there's not really a love interest in this. Like there is,
There is,
but
but
they're
he's
not.
not really.
Not really. Yeah. Like I've never liked in the first one Marion or whatever. I've never been a
I
fan of her ever.
I like her, but I think that's just because,
Nah.
well, I do.
Why? Okay, why? Sorry.
Um, I mean, I hate to say just, oh, her character is fun, because I know there needs to be a better reason than that. But like, I
Her
don't know,
character
her
can
character
be
is
fun. I
fun.
get it.
I love her introduction of out drinking the Mongolian guy, and has
That's fun.
this
I
the
admit
really
that.
nice cinematography of her standing against the wall. There's fire in the
Yes.
background, and then you just see
Yes.
Harrison's shadow step over her. That's so
Hold
nice.
on. We will talk about all the Indiana Jones at the end.
We will. So something that I love that this one does is that it gets the gang back together, because a lot of the reason why, I mean, I know we're going to talk about this later, that I think Temple of Doom doesn't work as well, is that it is just Indian short round. And short round's fun, but in this one, you get Sala back, you get Marcus Brody back, you get his dad. It's all of the troop. Even if his dad is a new addition, it's the whole troop that made the first one so fun. And I like that this is much more of a team effort.
Very true. I agree. And I like that where it was somewhat part. I mean, I would say both the first one and the third one did this well. That the second one did not really do at all. This felt like an archaeological thing again. Like the
Yes.
second one was not really. It didn't have anything really to do with like
Not
anything.
really,
Like
no.
it just I don't know. It was a fun action movie, an adventure, but like I don't know. I like the secret rooms and the breaking the staff and the I don't know, just that kind of stuff I'm here for.
Well, I mean, so before we watch this, they did like a pre-roll thing of like, oh,
Hmm.
here's some guy, he's going to talk about some of the trivia, and it was a purposeful idea to make it, this one, more fun, because number 2 is, for Indiana Jones, it's trying to be more serious, and I like that this one is getting back to the goofy adventure shenanigans, even when they're, the the castle's burning down and they got Nazis trying to kill them, they're still doing funny jokes and he's Pratt falling downstairs and stuff.
But like it was never so like kooky comical that like it took you out of the action,
Yeah,
and it
that's
like
true.
it still felt like there were stakes. See, because that's my problem with what's it
Dead
called?
Reckoning or
Well,
uh,
yes, but
Final Reckoning.
what's it called? The first one, Raiders of the Lost Ark. I don't know. I never felt like there was real stakes for
I know
him.
that people's perception of that movie have been slightly ruined because of the Big Bang Theory pointing out that the ending would have been exactly the same whether Indy's there or not. I still really enjoy it though.
Oh no, no. Like, again, like if I had to rank them, it's definitely number 3, then 1, then something else. But like, yes, it's hard to once you think about that. I don't know. I've never really been able to get over that, which is a bummer, to be honest.
I mean, it is hard to unsee.
I love all the Sean Connery and Harris. Just Sean Connery and Harris. You could just put them in a room and they could just do whatever, and it'd
They
be
have
interesting.
such great chemistry in this. Like I mean,
Which
obviously, but just it's so great.
it's very good. All the like him trying to sort of get his dad's approval and his love and affection, but then like
I even
I
like
don't know.
that moment
It's
they
great.
have when they're sitting on the motorcycle at the, the direction sign and he's slapping them and
Mm-hmm.
talking about their mom getting serious
Sure.
for a second. Like that's such great just character work.
Or
Which is
then
another
like
thing the other one
but
didn't have.
right before that, where they have that serious conversation when he sticks the pipe in that motorcycle, and clearly that's not what would happen because
No,
the
I've
MythBusters
seen a
proved it
breakdown of
wrong.
like, yeah, that wouldn't unless that
But
pipe is made of explosives.
but then he like looks at his dad and chuckles. And like Sean Connery is clearly like the disapproving dad of like I'm just gonna wind my watch and fix my hat like that. Come on,
Yep.
like such subtle little bits like that.
Or the bit where they're on the beach and they're out of options and the dad just kills the guy by throwing birds into him.
Yeah. I don't know if I love that one. I'll be honest.
Really?
That one has always kind of pushed it for me.
In what way?
That's borderline kind of ridiculous, like kooky, like
I don't know. That's
I don't
kind of
know.
the point, though.
Maybe. I mean, I love the bit where like he's the tail gunner and he just shoots the back of the plane. He's like, "Oh man, they got us." What a great line, dude.
Oh yeah.
The blimp
I
stuff, the ticket, great.
see that to me is my bit of this is too goofy because
What?
so think about it. Harrison Ford in an ill-fitting officer's jacket punches a guy,
Sure.
throws him out of a window, and then all the other German passengers look confused, and he says in English, "Oh, no ticket," and they buy this completely. That
Hey,
that that to me
there's a lot of
is the
there's a lot
goofy
of
stretch
sheep in the
too
world,
far.
Hayden.
I'm
There's a
sorry.
lot of sheep there's a lot of sheep in the world. I feel like
I mean,
in that
sure.
moment, if you were just a random bystander, I don't know. I mean, wouldn't you rather like show up your ticket just in case this person, tosses you
I
out a window?
mean, yes, but I feel like I'm then obviously then talking to like I don't know the not the conductor the like the pilot or something like hey there's a clearly American guy punching people.
Okay, so you have your thing and I have my thing we don't like. That's
That's
okay
fair.
too.
That's I mean I wouldn't say I don't like it. It's just the one that seems
Sure.
like the most silly, I guess.
Everything with the tank, awesome. With inside and outside of the tank,
Oh,
awesome.
just incredible stunt work all over the place.
I think that's some of the times when I like Indy the best is either when he's in like some place solving a puzzle or when he's on like the back of a horse with like the whip and or gun out. I don't know. Like is that just feels very
Mhm.
classic Indiana Jones.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, it's also I mean I think my favorite stuff of indie is just I mean all of the music I could
Well,
listen to
sure.
all of this like all the way through just it sounds like a symphony. It's amazing. I mean obviously John Williams needs no introduction but it's just it's so good.
Yeah, there's a lot of iconic stuff. I mean, there's from the actors to the directing to the composing. Like, obviously, I think we're going to say this throughout this episode, but yeah, they cooked. They definitely cooked.
How do you do, fellow kids?
Okay, all right, Steve Buscemi.
I've never actually seen what that's from. I've only ever seen it as a meme. I don't actually know what that's from.
I don't know either,
Let's say,
actually.
do you?
No.
Okay.
And I'm surprised that I didn't think that the whole like undead knight at the end wasn't too like kooky, but I've never really had that thought for some reason.
Well, I mean, because again, not to keep ragging on Temple of Doom, this is also what the first one did. They bring one actual supernatural element at the very end, and that's the only big, fiction you're
Mm-hmm.
asked to believe. And I think that
Yep.
this one does that really well as well. I also love that the effects for the quote unquote ghost knight aren't like super in your face. He's just sort of blue and sort of glowing. But I
Mm-hmm.
think if you were to make it now, it would be way too like over the top
Clearly
and
he's a
stuff.
ghost. Yeah.
Yes, I like the way they did it in this. Um, the what's his name? The guy who financed the Nazis and things like that. When he
Oh,
goes into that,
Donovan.
yeah, when Donovan goes into like the mug room and he very intentionally gets given the wrong mug, that has scared me since I was a kid. Where he
Oh,
like,
sure. That's
I
dude.
mean,
It's creepy.
oh, and it's all stop motion and practical effects, and it's so well done of him like aging and then turning into a skeleton and just hate it.
For years, like years and years, I did not make like the connection that she gave him the wrong one on purpose.
Well, to be fair, that is kind of subtle. It is just her
It no, it
kind
is
of looking
yes,
at
it is
him.
subtle, but like I just never really got it. And I was like, oh
Sure.
wait, she clearly was like, no, let's kill him. Okay.
So, is there something that you wanted to see in this that obviously wasn't added in? It's not like we can go back and cut the negatives now, but like if it's not in this, what would you want to be in the quote unquote last crusade?
That's a good question. I don't know. I feel so satisfied with what I got. I don't know
It,
what I would put. You know what I mean?
I mean, it is a good like. I mean, I asked that because I wouldn't be able to answer it either. I don't know of anything that it needs adding. I think it's. I mean, we've said already. I think it is perfect.
Yeah. I mean, I like that they bring in like the whole like Guardians of the Grail, like the dude in Venice who also goes on to like stage a little like shootout.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's
I
maybe.
think they needed to look more effective because they don't. I
Yeah.
mean, they don't do a whole lot other than die.
I mean, yeah, they sort of. I mean, they sort of move the plot forward, but not really. I mean, the first bit where they need to find his dad, sure, but when they actually do the little attack halfway through, they don't really serve a purpose.
Well, no, it
Like he
causes
gets some
them to be
horses
able to
out of it.
hide in the tank and moves the scene into the tank stunt section.
True. I don't know.
Perhaps a better and or follow up question though: if this was coming out today, who would you cast in it?
Well, see, I feel like I said this last week with Tom Cruise. Like, I don't know if I would like. I don't think you can replace like the like. I can't. I just don't think anyone else could be Indiana Jones besides Harrison Ford, and he's just obviously clearly way too fucking old now.
Okay, so aside from Harrison Ford, who would you cast?
And
Because
nowadays,
I have some ideas.
I would put Margot Robbie as the blonde.
She would make a good German.
Yes, I think she'd be. I mean, even the girl from back then is pretty good looking, but yeah, I think she would do great at
Like
that.
that has always been my opinion of just like, you know what, Indy, I can't even blame you. She's really hot.
I can't blame his dad either, which that whole bit is
Oh,
great. With them tied to the chair, all that
it's
stuff is
so
so funny.
funny. It's so good.
Yes.
I mean, both the dialogue and both of their facial expressions
Oh yeah,
are
the little glances and
so
stuff
funny.
is fantastic.
So I think Margot Robbie's a good choice.
Margot Robbie,
I think for I know we just said his
Donovan,
name.
or
Yeah, I think for Donovan, you can get Michael Fassbender. I think that would work
I
well.
was for some reason I was also thinking Michael Fassbender.
I mean, he's a really versatile actor. He plays a good villain, so I think he'd be good there. And then
Who do you play as the main German guy who dies in the tank?
he was in Inglorious Bastards. He's the German guy they rescue from prison.
German guy. Oh, I know who you're talking about.
I
But yeah, but he played like I
I
don't know
can't
if
think of another
he's not
ethnically German actor
animated
off the top of
enough.
my hand.
Dude, get fucking Christoph Waltz in there. He'd be great.
No, he can't be every German character. And
You
he's too
just
old.
picked another guy that plays every German character.
He's too old now.
Well, if you look, the guy in Indiana Jones is not a young guy. Like the
Okay,
German
fine.
dude.
We can do Christoph Waltz.
I don't know.
I think Marcus Brody would be. He was like a good sidekick.
I would say, what's the guy who played? God, I can envision his face. Oh, he played like the sidekick in the remake of Beauty and the Beast. You know who I'm talking about? But I feel like he's too like
The sidekick in Beauty and the Beast.
he's like
Josh
the big
Gad?
buff guy. Yes, Josh Gad. Thank you. But I don't know. I think he's too.
The short fat guy.
Yes, Marcus Brody.
I don't.
Yeah. I don't know. But I think he's too like sweet looking. He doesn't. You need someone who plays a good like
befuddled old guy.
Yes, he doesn't inherently have to be old, but he does need to have that good befuddled vibe. But I don't. That's a hard one to pick. I feel like because not everyone usually like actively portrays befuddled.
I'm blanking on his name, but Walter White, something Cranston. What's his first name? This is killing
Bryan
me.
Cranston.
I think he would play a good befuddled old guy because we've seen him in Malcolm in the Middle and he's done some other movie stuff. He's got the comedic chops.
He has range. Yeah, that's not a terrible idea actually. Playing a little bit more against cast that way too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think that's a fairly decent recast.
Sala.
It would have to be someone from Egypt, and I genuinely don't know any Egyptian actors outside of Rami Malek.
Yeah, neither of those guys are the right vibe for that.
No, they're all too handsome.
Yeah, that's very true.
Which, no offense to Gimli, but
yes, different vibes.
Different vibes. Well, is there anything else you want to say?
Wait,
about...
who would you recast as Sean Connery?
See, that's
dad.
I think that's the hardest one.
I don't know, dude. That's why I was like, Harrison Ford is kind of a like. I don't think you can change that, but I feel like you could
in the same way that I don't
dad.
know if I could change Harrison Ford. I don't know that I could change Sean Connery because they're just so those roles. You know, I don't know if there's another well-respected but aged actor we could cast.
Well, how old do you think he was trying to portray in that movie?
Probably
60s,
late
70s?
middle 60s.
Hold on, I'm googling. Late 60-year-old.
Ironically
actors.
enough, you could get Harrison Ford.
See, that could be fun.
I mean, it'd be too on the nose, but it would work.
Well, see, with I don't know if it's modern medicine or just a lot of plastic surgery, like people who are in their late 60s. That is another problem.
Yes.
Well, people who are in their late 60s now in the industry are like Nick Cage or Steve Buscemi or Bryan Cranston. That's why I was like, okay, Bryan Cranston as either the dad or the Russell Crowe, maybe.
That's not a bad choice. Can he do comedy? Well, I guess he's done the other guys or nice guys.
Tommy Lee Jones is too old.
Yeah.
Who else? Pierce Brosnan. Pierce, like an older Pierce Brosnan and Harrison Ford.
Is a good pick.
I like that a lot, actually.
That is a good pick. Pierce Brosnan
like works. A lot.
Which means someone who looks vaguely like Pierce Brosnan needs to play Indy.
Harrison Ford?
Yes.
I mean, you could even have Sam Neill as the dad. I don't know. I feel like he's the right age.
Sam Neill would work.
No, I don't want to just look at Pierce Brosnan's
Another person
kids.
You could sub out for Bryan Cranston. You could use Sam Rockwell because I think he would play a good comedic befuddled.
He would, but I don't think you need. I think the
Bryan
Cranston is good because he is the slightly older. Yeah,
sure. Well, what does Google tell you?
I think they're really just showing me a lot of like pictures of Pierce Brosnan's kids, which is not really what I'm looking for. But no, I think that's like Pierce Brosnan as Sean Connery and Bryan Cranston as.
It is so hard to recast Harrison Ford though.
That's very tough. That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, no, they shouldn't just say, we'll just keep making him with him in his 80s. They should just stop making them and start just making something else. But like,
I know there was talk for a while online that maybe Chris Pratt, but I don't think he has the face.
No, absolutely not.
Well, you got to remember at the time, Guardians 1 had just come out and Jurassic World 1 had just come out. People were really hyping up Chris Pratt to be the next big action star, which in a
He
way
did for a
maybe.
little while.
Then he went
But
into
no,
voicing animated movies. So
I'm not. I'm so. I would picket line for that shit, dude.
against it?
Yes,
Oh, I couldn't tell which way you meant.
yes, against it.
Another good, you know, Dr. Jones Sr., which might be controversial because of his political opinions, but you could do Mel Gibson. I think it would work well.
Potentially, there's been a couple things where I've seen him in as an older man, and like he's not bad.
Yeah,
Uh,
and he's done some
yeah.
stuff with Will Ferrell, I believe. He can do comedy, obviously.
Well, but I'm also thinking what I like about Sean Connery is there's a certain amount of like because he's a professor, there's a certain amount of like regal,
Yeah,
like
wouldn't get that with
studious
Mel Gibson.
vibes. And you wouldn't, yeah. I was like, I think Pierce Brosnan, you'd probably could get that, but I don't think, yeah, you'd get it
It
with Mel
does help
Gibson.
that he's British.
Yes, it does. Even though Sean Connery is like a totally, Scottish
I like
actor,
that
but
they
that's
didn't
fine.
even try to like make
Didn't
it make
address that at
sense
all.
that
Yeah, that's
his
fine.
dad's Scottish and he's American and there's no crossover in language whatsoever. I thought that was really
Yeah,
funny.
yeah, it's fine. Okay. What else for Last Crusade?
I love the booby traps in this one.
Yes. Well, again,
And
like that's when I think of Indiana Jones, it's stuff like
oh
that.
yeah,
That's what
for
I think
sure.
of.
Well, I even with the technology of the day, it was what came out like 84 or something like that. Like the whole thing where he has to walk across the quote unquote invisible bridge. I don't know how they did that at the time and had made it look so convincing and good. That's so cool. I do think the whole floor made out of collapsible tiles is a little bit cliche, but that's,
A
you got
little,
to throw
but
it in
yeah, it's
there.
okay. I think that's again. I get what you're saying, but I think I think it's fine.
Well, what else do you have off the top of your head?
I'm trying to think backwards. Let's see. Venice. Oh yes, So you and I definitely had the same thought in the theater when they come out of the manhole in Venice. I could have sworn that's the same spot that Brad Pitt runs by.
It is. I
Uh,
looked it up.
is it really?
Yeah, it's the exact because it's sitting in front of the exact same church, and they have
Okay, because I
that
was like,
cafe
man, I
there.
could have. That looks so familiar.
Well, listeners, if you haven't listened to that episode, we talk about all of the Ocean's 11s and 12s and 13s, and there's a scene in that where Brad Pitt is talking to Catherine Zeta-Jones, and it's in a very picturesque, idyllic cafe, and they have the exact same filming location in this. I do not that I want. Um, the main movie's romantic interest to show up in this, but I think that there needed to be another female character to foil against um, Dr. Schneider or whatever her
Ilsa.
name was. Yeah, like I think.
Well,
I mean, it's fine that there isn't, but I think it would have been a little bit more interesting if there was another female character in the entire movie.
perhaps, but I don't know. I like dad and son and friend of dad and son.
Oh
I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. Well, anything else to say about this? I mean, perfect movie.
Perfect movie. No, if you haven't
See,
seen it, you're definitely fucking missing out.
See, this is what I feared. I'm like, well, other than just pointing out our favorite things, we don't have much to
That's
talk
okay.
about.
There's nothing wrong with that.
So I was having the thought, okay, so this is maybe the perfect action, like fun adventure movie. What else would you put in that category? Because I'm thinking it's Indie
Well,
One. It's both Brendan
I
Fraser mummies.
I don't know if I'd put Indie One in there.
Really?
I think it's close. I think it's either 4 or 4.5, but I don't think it's a perfect 5.
Okay. Well, I do agree to disagree. I guess we can talk about that another time. Maybe do it for another episode.
So looking at my letterbox and setting it to only adventure movies, and then
That's a
sort
pretty
by my
broad
highest.
definition, though.
True. I mean, because it's saying things like Mad Max, Interstellar, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Well, okay, Pirates of the Caribbean 1 I would throw in there.
Then yes, I would say Pirates of the Caribbean 1 is a perfect movie.
I really like Pirates of the Caribbean 2, but I am well aware of its flaws. So I wouldn't add it even though it's a personal favorite of mine. But number 1, absolutely.
I mean, Master and Commander,
Not really an act. I mean, that's kind of a drama.
Man from Uncle.
It's a good action movie, but is it perfect?
Oh, I think it's perfect. But well, I mean, again, that might be a conversation for a separate episode.
Personally,
but like,
I think the thing that's keeping it from being perfect is that Alicia Vikander is not topless in any part of the movie.
Okay. All right. We're just
Personally,
gonna
for me
cut that out.
personally, it's not going in. It's fine.
Skyfall's really good, but it's not. It's not. It's an. That's an action movie, but I don't know if it's an adventure movie.
I
The
would
Indiana
put
Jones is
GoldenEye in there
adventure.
though.
Like Life Aquatic,
No,
or even Fantastic Mr. Fox. I don't know if I would
those
really
are
call
those are
that.
dramedies. They're not adventure movies. I don't think.
Hmm.
I mean, since
Jurassic Park,
the
maybe.
science fiction. See, since the the birth of the superhero genre as we know it today, adventure movies have kind of died.
At least inherently only adventure movies. Yes.
Sure,
Everything now because they're trying to. I feel like they're
it's
trying
either
to.
superheroes or it's Mission Impossible.
No, I think just so many movies now are you're trying to hit as many different audiences as possible. So the movie is not just it's an action movie or it's a
That's
whatever
true.
movie. So many movies have some drama, some comedy, some that kind of thing. So
Yeah,
which I do totally get. Ooh, The Northman is pretty. That's an adventure
that's
movie.
a historical epic.
Speed Racer. Come on, dude. Speed Racer's
don't be
fucking
wrong,
awesome.
Speed Racer is a perfect movie. I genuinely love it. Is it adventure though?
Yeah, I would say that's adventure.
I think it's both adventure and science fiction, but I do think it counts.
Oh, sorry, I love that movie. Ugh,
I saw some clips of it on Instagram a couple days ago. I'm like, God damn, I
so
want to watch that
fucking good.
again. It's so good.
So fucking good. I would say The Incredibles is an adventure movie, or Shrek.
Incredibles,
right?
yes. Shrek's a comedy about ogres. I don't know
They
if
both
I call
have
it
comedies,
adventure.
though. Yeah. Okay. All right.
But
Which I don't know if you
but
do you know the whole
Incredibles,
backstory behind.
100%.
Do you know the backstory behind Shrek and like the starting of DreamWorks and all that?
Oh yeah,
I can't remember if you sent me a reel about that or if I saw that independently, but like it's pretty
probably
interesting.
both. Because I love me some animation stuff, so I do know what it is you're talking about, but it's entirely possible you learned it from some source that's not me.
Okay. Okay, I think that's enough of
That's fair.
that. So speaking generally of Indiana Jones, like just to quickly run through those real quick. Well, actually, do we want to run through them, or do we want to potentially do an episode on any of them later on? Because if we're also thinking of doing some time where we talk about our year in review.
I think we do the entire series later because I do think we can talk about each movie and find things to critique,
I think
whether
so
it's
too.
good or bad. I mean,
Yeah.
even the newest one.
Sure. I only watched it once and I didn't love it, but I would watch it again and have thoughts.
Yeah, so let's talk about it another time, I think.
Okay. Because we got to do Does It Bucket?
Oh, Does It Bucket?
What would you
100%.
bucket
You can get goblets. You can get
goblets.
You can get goblets. You can get tanks with the top that comes off.
What you have to really think. What is iconic Indiana Jones?
Well, it would be the hat.
I don't think it's the tank. I don't think it's the tank. Maybe, like generally, sure, it'd be probably the hat. But
you could have the whip coiled around it.
Yeah,
I think for this one specifically, you could definitely have a big. Yeah, you could definitely have, the cup of Christ. I mean, seems weird to fill a cup of Christ with popcorn, but you could definitely do it.
What you do, so it's a combo. The hat gets you the popcorn, and the
goblets
for your soda or your icy or whatever the fuck it is.
I mean, marketing departments, hit us up. We got the ideas.
I'm just saying, this is all free to use for now.
Send us a DM.
So, folks, we just did Does It Bucket for Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade, and from there we usually transition to either what we watched or what we are going to watch or things like that. Hayden, have you been watching anything, or are you looking forward to watching anything in the near future?
I don't think there's any new trailers I've seen recently. I'm still looking forward to Weapons. I would still like to watch Bring Her Back while it's still in theaters, but I haven't had the chance. And then I've been watching my terror show off of Netflix. Still really enjoying it. It's getting tense. They're now stranded out on the ice. They're trying to escape back to Greenland, and it's really leaning into the idea of, okay, are they going crazy? Are they all is everyone paranoid? Is the polar bear real? It's a very It's a very nice tense mix there. I'm enjoying it a lot.
Okay.
I haven't watched any movies per se. I've just been enjoying that. I did hear some movie news that I don't know you'll care about, but I really wasn't a fan of. So the company that has owned the rights to the Saw franchise
No,
since
I
its
don't. Yeah.
inception
Okay.
is a company called Twisted Pictures. And I guess I'll get it out of the way. I love Saw. I own all of them physically. I love them to death. I'm aware they have their very obvious flaws. I love the series. And unfortunately, Twisted Pictures sold the rights to Blumhouse, which is just not what you want to hear because Blumhouse definitely has their winners. Like, they made things like Sinister and they made things like the Conjuring movies. Like they have their winner movies, but they are known for just pumping out crap. They are known for just green lighting a quick buck. I am very worried that we're going to see Saw 11 come out and it's going to be garbage. So, didn't like that news, but I think it's worth mentioning.
Okay. Because yeah, if that's what you're passionate about, well, yeah, we'll definitely talk about it.
Yeah.
Um.
Well, Duncan, what have you watched? What are you looking forward to? What news do you want to mention?
So I rewatched the series Obi-Wan Kenobi because I was feeling like, it came out technically at this point 3 years ago, and I feel like I could give that because I didn't love it the last time I saw it. The music is real. It's not John Williams. It's this chick named Natalie Holt, I think.
Yeah, I have some of her stuff in my Spotify.
I like it a lot. And once you get past, I feel like I was talking to you about this off air, but it's only 6 episodes. Once you get past the first 2 episodes of like laying the groundwork and the whole like young Leia bullshit, which I don't care about, the other 4 episodes are actually really good. So I'm glad I came back to that. From there, I
I don't
watched.
know. I remember not enjoying it, but maybe I should rewatch
Well,
it.
no, that's really how I felt because I was like, I don't think it was that good, and then I was like, well, if I come back to this, yes, there are some bits that are still not good, but either way, uh, I can't remember what prompted me to watch this or even search it out, but something called "Digging for Fire." So this is by a guy.
That's saved in my list as well.
Really, um,
Yeah,
don't waste your time with
because
it.
I like Jake Johnson a lot.
Well, if you look, the cast is actually really stacked.
Yeah, I mean I know that's why I added it.
And it's really not good.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, I would give it. Just because it's in your saved, I will not talk anything more. And obviously, because you and I have had very polar opposite positions on things, you might really like it. But I gave it like a
Okay,
one and
well,
a half out of 5. But
oof.
yeah, Indiana Jones. Obviously, we just talked about. I watched for the first time The Great Outdoors. This is the.
Oh, that's a fun movie.
I had never seen it. The John
John
Candy, Dan
Candy.
Aykroyd. And
Yeah.
boy, so first of all, Dan Aykroyd is playing the most ridiculous character, and the whole time I feel like he's playing like a caricature, but also the whole time I couldn't not feel like he was uh, playing like it was like his person was a person out of like an SNL skit,
Well, I think that's the point.
and because I had never seen this before, but so much of this movie revolves around John Candy trying to like go out in nature with his kids and bond with them. And yeah, sure, there's lots of funny moments and all that, but like so much of this hit home like really specifically with a lot of our like family vacations growing
Yep.
up. So
Yep.
like it was
I mean, there's definitely more fishing in this, but a
sure,
lot
but
of it,
like
yes.
no, there's just a lot of I don't know. There's a lot of that kind of stuff that I don't know. I definitely connected with, and then because I had just finished Obi-Wan, I was like, you know what? I gave that a chance. Let me give Ahsoka a chance, which is um,
I've heard great things, but I've never watched it.
uh. So the trade-off is some of it is really fucking cool, but because like all the stuff with her and Anakin is so dope, dude. It's I don't want to say like, but
I've
it's
I've
so dope.
I've seen some of the clips. Yes.
But so much of that series and the story and the characters are all based off Star Wars Rebels, which I had never seen. It was the like Disney XD, like uh I don't know. It
Clone
was
Wars spinoff.
well, it was no, it was like the more kiddie Clone Wars vibes that I can never get. And like that's so much like they pander to that audience a lot in this, and
And
I just don't
so
care. So all the cool stuff is cool, but like overall, I think comparatively to Obi-Wan, where at least like it is like the main character is still like a main, like the source material is pretty like general public, so it's not this obscure. I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know. Like Ahsoka as a character is cool. The fight scenes were cool. Uh, yeah, I don't want to say too much, but like, yeah, I don't know. I'd say very much middle ground of like it's a 3 out of 5, and that's fine.
Okay.
And this is the last thing before Ray Stevenson, yeah,
Yes,
Stevenson
he passed
died,
away after it was done.
and I like him up in this a lot. He's really really good.
That's kind of what I've heard. Is it like, yeah, the visuals are nice, and he's like the best part actor wise.
Well, he basically him and his apprentice are so he was in the Jedi Order, escaped Order 66, and then basically became a mercenary, and then raised an
Oh, and
apprentice
then he has
outside of the Jedi Order.
yeah, he has like the crazy like Russian blonde girl.
Mm-hmm. And both of their outfits are like heavy duty, like medieval art, medieval knight vibes to it, which is pretty
That's
cool.
cool.
Yeah,
I mean, it
which
wouldn't last against blasters and like lightsabers, but
no,
that's cool.
no, but yeah, it's got some cool vibes to it. But that's everything I've watched in the week. And if you are curious, if you want a little more, I don't know, reflection on those, I also do Dunk's Movie Corner for that kind of stuff. Things coming. Let's see. F1 comes out in a week or so. I am most likely going to see Phoenician Scheme tomorrow before work. So I'm hoping, because again, I know basically
I'd like to
nothing
watch
about
that
it
as well.
So I'm hoping that's good, but we'll kind of, I don't know. I've heard very mixed things, but that's pretty Wes Anderson vibes to it.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, so I heard the whole like Tom Cruise is getting an honorary Oscar, which is
Yep.
cool, but like he could also just win an Oscar. I like that, but at the same time, like just give him an Oscar for an actual like.
Well, to be fair, he hasn't done any like serious acting in a while. We can't give him an Oscar for Ethan Hunt.
No, but like he could probably accept it for stunt work.
I mean, I do agree with you there. Where that is part of the honorary Oscar that he's getting.
Okay, because yeah, I saw that. I was like, I
So
get it, but at the same time,
I have it up here in my messages. Tom Cruise is getting an honorary Oscar for commitment to filmmaking community, promoting the theatrical experience, and the enhancement of the stunt community.
okay. Actually,
Which,
no, I like that a lot.
That kind of makes sense.
That's kind of all that I can think of for what's coming out and things like that. But anything else you can think of before we wrap up episode 52? Oh, and as an FYI, people, you'll probably see either today or tomorrow when this episode gets posted at the same time or something like that. We'll be releasing a very not crazy long little recap of our first 52 episodes, including our special feature episodes. So if you look at like the timeline, it is slightly more than a year that we've been doing this, but yeah, it's been fun. All right, and that was episode 52 then.
Thanks for a year. Hope you join us for the next one.